I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about the question we all have. And this is the question of, what do we do when someone we're with shuts down? Someone we're talking to, somebody we're spending time with, and you've been there and you've had that connection. You know, you've had something that feels good and feels normal. And, you know, there's a sense of, maybe a little sense of lightness or a sense of decency and goodness, and you're connecting. Some circuits open. It could be profound. It could be just a very normal moment. And then there comes the moment when what they say or what they do or their body language shifts. And you no longer feel at all certain that there's a connection. And what just happened? And the pain of that, you feel pain. We feel pain in that moment. And now what do? You know, that lightness, that easiness, even the intensity of the connection is gone, and you have awkwardness, or you have upset, you know, all these things, right? It's tough. It's a really tough moment. And I don't care who you are, how, you know, well trained you are in explanations for these things, that is a moment. If it's not a real challenging moment, it's probably not what we're talking about, actually. We're really talking about the moments that get you, that get into us, right? So everybody wants to know what to do in this moment. What do I do? How do I get that connection going again? What do I say? And, you know, what's the right approach? And I actually want to present a slightly challenging view of this. And the view is that the right approach is never the same. One situation to the next, the right approach is not the same approach. Because you're in a different situation. You're in a different moment. And being in that moment is actually the most important thing. So I want to say that first and foremost. There's no rule book that's going to tell you what to do. Secondly, I want to tell you an uncomfortable fact. And the uncomfortable fact is that when somebody shuts off their connection to us specifically, although one could actually wonder whether they're actually shutting off their connection with themselves even in that moment. But when that happens, there's no force in the universe that can, hijack that process and get them back out. You cannot coerce them to open up. And that's a tough realization, but actually a very important realization. Because when somebody shuts down, it's not forever. I mean, my goodness, no, it's not forever. It's just a moment. Maybe it's 3 moments in a row. Maybe it's 100 moments in a row. You know, maybe it's 1 minute of being shut down and 10 seconds of being open, and then 5 minutes of being shut down. These are moment by moment experiences. But we have to recognize that we cannot coerce them to come out. That's very important. We have to be awake if we can. We have to be ready for that opportunity when it presents itself, when they do open back up. And we sometimes can't do either of those. Sometimes it's just too painful, and it's valid to step away. It's really valid to step away. But the last thing I wanted to say was, you know, how do we understand, like, why does this happen? Why do people shut down? And here I really want to point us back to ourselves and say, we can study this. You can study this. You can study how opening up and shutting down happens, but you have to study it in your own experience. You have to notice when you open up and when you shut down. And to do that, we need a fair bit of bravery to take on our own limitations. And we need a lot of kindness. We really need to actually begin to learn the most challenging thing, which is how to care for ourselves, how to have compassion for ourselves, how to have mercy for ourselves and for our foibles and our misunderstandings. You know, we have to let ourselves be human beings. So this is the challenge for us. And I really challenge you to look at your own experience and notice, usually in retrospect, how I opened up, how I shut down, and how that process actually happened. And then maybe we can begin to apply this with others. Take a look at yourself.